do you think current industry events actually drive business outcomes like deals, investments, or they just validate reputations?
It's a good question. Your questions are brilliant. I've not done a lot of these, but these are the most probing questions. I think that the human contact is something that's vital, a vital part of business. We definitely know how many deals are made in their show. That's a lie, because not everybody's going to tell you the reality.
Welcome back to Game Biz Heroes, and today I'm joined by Chris, the CEO of Steel Media. This is the company behind Pocket Gamer Connects events, and PGC London 2026 is happening in just 1 week with over 3,000 delegates, nearly 300 speakers, and also the groundbreaking new partner events. And today we'll be talking about what's new, what's ambitious, and how the conference series is shaping the future of game businesses and global collaboration. So Chris, welcome. Happy to see you here.
Thank you for that lovely introduction. I'm slightly scared now of all the things I've got to do in 2 weeks. I was quietly confident before, but yeah, there's a lot going on. But yeah, I'm pleased to be here. Thank you for making time.
So let's start with the PGC London, the
Yes.
event that it's just around the corner. So
It is.
PGC London 2026 is being hyped at the biggest yet, right? It's the biggest event yet. So what's the riskiest, maybe game-changing experiment you're trying this year, and why do you believe it could redefine industry conferences?
Wow, big question. The riskiest experiment is probably when we decide to give free tickets and have nude networking. We're not doing that. That was a joke. No, we aren't doing any of those things. We always try out something new. The reality is, I kind of get easily bored myself. I've been doing this for a long time, 20 years, been running this company. So this year, every year we try and add something. This year we're adding a couple of things. We're adding a load of venue space. One of the complaints about London usually is it's a bit compact. I think that's part of its charm, but anyway. So we've got 35% more space. We've got a whole new venue space at the Barbican, which is kind of next door nearby. So that's kind of risky because it's expensive.
Yes. And it's easy to lost. It's easy to be lost there. I am telling you it from my personal experience. Half of my family lives in Barbican in London. Okay. So that's why when I always attending PGC London, I just spend 2 minutes to go to the venue. But it took me years to find the way, the quickest and easiest ways through the Barbican. So I wish everyone luck.
Yeah,
guys,
we are going to signpost it and have
Barbican.
volunteers. But yeah, no, I think that is a risk. We aren't taking over the whole Barbican just yet because we're not allowed to either.
That's good.
Yeah. Hopefully it's more space, and obviously the other thing that's going on there are these two summits. So we're looking at these sister industries. We're looking at the apps business. So some big app companies like Duolingo, Booking.com, Viber. There's a load of big companies from the apps world coming in, and people that work with the apps guys, because we know the apps is now. Apps and games are kind of very similar markets, even though apps is very divided, obviously. So we're doing that one day, and then we're doing a transmedia summit where kind of it's talking about where the TV, film, music, and other kind of creative industries come together with games. So we've got some filmmaking people, we've got some actors and some musicians, and people that work with really big name musicians and stuff there as well. So yeah, I mean, those are new events. Doing some new side events alongside the biggest event already is already quite a risk, because it's also always a learning experience, right? We're kind of trying to find a whole new industry, and we've gone for 2. But we have been doing transmedia before. That in Helsinki, we had a side event work pretty well. So we'll see how that goes. At the end of the day, that's additional though. Hopefully that provides some more inspiration and ideas and connectivity, but it's not taking away from the core event, which is also why we've held that in a separate venue. Although everybody Access PG Connects can go to these summits and meet people there. So there's that. You asked me about redefine the industry. I don't think I'm trying to redefine industry conferences. I think it's refining is what I'd say, like evolving rather than revolution. Our mission is just to put the best event we can and kind of facilitate connections between people in the industry. You've got other people out there making noise about trying different things. We've done a lot of different things. We maybe talk about that later over the years. We've tried different events. This is the format we've kind of got to that we find works and kind of delivers. So I think the biggest experiment and the risk, I guess, this year is not necessarily London, although we are adding new stuff to that. It's our whole kind of tour. We've got 10 events, the most we've ever tried doing a year.
Yeah.
And scaling the team to be able to support that and deliver each one a great event is probably I wouldn't say risk, but it's a challenge.
We'll talk about it later. I have one more a question about the PGC London, because
Go for it.
if you ever been to PGC London, so with a lot of speakers, the venue, the delegates, now with two venues, conferences can get overwhelmed, right? As much as inspire at the same time. So how do you encourage meaningful connections so that unexpected opportunities happen? Or just maybe some tricks for people who are attending for the first time and they will be shocked, right, when they see this hall.
I was shot by the horse. I think, but part of our trick for encouraging connectivity is to force people into a very small space with lots of labyrinthine things.
Got it. Okay.
I'm kind of only joking there. Like, one of the reasons we've not stayed with the brewery, we've been looking at different venues for years because we are growing, stretching its capacity. Is it does force meetings in between, walking between meetings or walking around the show floor, or on the stairs, or just outside for
Yeah.
a cigarette break if that's your thing. You meet people, also at the evening parties, but you can't help meet people. Our entire business, really, and our entire event is about connectivity. It's PG Connects for a reason. And everything we kind of do is focus around connecting people and either connecting, supporting, or celebrating the industry. Those are our three taglines. And so, yeah, we have a strong central meeting system. You've got to use Meet to Match. If you just use that, even if you only spend like an hour or two on it, go in there, browse through, try to arrange some meetings, right? And just check out who's there. That's a key tip. If you've got a particular project, look at the fringe events. We do kind of fringe events, a big indie pitch for indie developers. We do the DevPub speed match for developers and publishers, and the investor connector for people looking for money or investors. So those are things that go on. And of course, there's always the parties and the dinners and the mixers, and get to as many of those as you can. I mean, for me, my tip is to set yourself a target of business cards, right? I used to do this when I
Yeah.
started this company. I'd go, right, I've got like 100 business cards in my thing I'm going to this event with. I want to give them all out, or I want to get 50 in,
Yeah.
or whatever. And I know that sounds a bit of a slightly naff thing to do, but actually it forces you to go, okay, well, I've got to get some more meets
Yeah.
done. Just getting those connections. Maybe it's LinkedIn connections rather than the business cards these days. I'm quite old, but like I like the card because you can remember it, and it's
Exactly. I wanted to say that LinkedIn Connections is amazing, but when you have side events, when you have different venues and conferences, and you meet so many people, then you open this LinkedIn and it's like, okay, where I can find the guy that I talked on the second day
yeah, no,
on the stairs. Who was it from this
it would be
list?
exactly. It'd be really handy if LinkedIn was a way you could just tag a
Yeah.
contact to an event or something, but because that'd be a useful thing. Because yeah, I'm much the same. If you go to China or Asia and use their systems, it's even worse. Like I used to go to China
Yeah.
a lot, and WeChat is great. It's one of the biggest everything app in the world, but people use it for their Facebook, they use it for the equivalent of their LinkedIn, they use it for everything. So you'll basically come back with, and if you don't speak Chinese, you come back from China with 100 connections, but are basically a Chinese name and a picture of a cat, and you're like,
Yeah.
who is this? I don't know. And then hopefully you've got to kind of, when you're making those meetings, yeah, if you're doing it on LinkedIn, try and make a note. We've got little notebooks we give out at the show. I'm going to try and find one. I can't find one, but yeah, well, I've got hundreds of the things, but yeah, use that and make a note of people. So I think that's it. And I mean, the other thing is the talks, right? If we have got a lot of different tracks. They're all themed. So if you're going to a talk about UA, people in that talk and hanging around outside are probably interested in that. They're probably relevant to you. If you're going about development tools, if you're going about marketing and monetization, if you're going about, I don't know, anything, live ops, whatever it is, or new technologies, go to those tracks. You don't have to watch the entire track, but if you hang around there, you're going to find people coming out. And I think if you see a good talk, always grab that person afterwards. They're very, people or ask a question. People are really willing to talk to you, and you don't, this is not an awkward situation. It's not even at a party. You're in a talk. They've explained their thing. They're open to people coming up afterwards and saying, hi, I thought that was great. Can we connect? So, if somebody's really valuable, go to the talk, grab them quickly afterwards. You're not going to get half-hour meet straight away, but you will get their card. So I guess those are and go to as many networking parties as you can. I'm now in my late 30s. I'm quite old now, so I can't quite, I do go out still, but I can't. I used to hit every party and I can't do that anymore. But if you're full of energy, try and get round and do the networking in the evening, because that's part of the fun, really, of the industry, I think.
Yeah. I love business cards. Anything works if you just don't lose the concept, in my opinion.
The one other thing which I
yeah.
do occasionally, which I just sort of remembered as you were talking, is because everyone's got a name badge on. So
Yeah,
if you haven't got a card, you haven't been able to connect, or you just want to follow up, just take a quick picture with them or do a selfie with them or
yeah,
whatever, and you've got that. And then you can go through your photo rolls well and go, oh God, there was Margaret Smith from blah blah blah, and I need to follow up. And then you can go and find her on
exactly.
LinkedIn. That helps. That's a really good way of doing that. And most people don't mind the photo being taken.
Exactly. So also you've described PGC as more than just meetings and panels, it's much more right now. So do you think current industry events actually drive business outcomes like deals, investments, new partnerships maybe, or they just validate reputations? This is
I
a
mean,
very
it's unlo-
tricky question, and there's a lot of conversations around this. But I'm just curious to hear your perspective as like the person, the team who organized it.
Yeah, I mean, I think as someone that's putting on events, I'd be unlikely to say no, it's a waste of time. But I think without a shadow of a doubt, it does drive. We know for the fact from reports coming back from events, from friends, from people that have said that they got investment there or they started a deal. We know that a lot of deals are either struck or started at events like ours. And it's not just ours, right? Any event, because that's, you see games for the first time, you see people for the first time, and there are vendors there trying to sell services. So if they didn't sell any services, they wouldn't be coming back. So we know deals are getting done. I think one difference between us and some other events that are more games industry about the creative or just about topics, we are about the themes, but we're very, very consciously and unashamedly a business event from the off. Like I say, our talks are some creative tracks in there, but it is much more making money, doing deals, making business. How can you grow your studio? It's that stuff. So we are very focused on that. The business side is very important to us. It is nice to be inspired. It's nice to catch up on trends, to meet old friends. But I feel if you're paying for tickets and the travel and all the other costs that get there, and London's not the most expensive city in the world, but it's not the cheapest either. You want something back, and we understand that. And again, if we didn't feel people could get that, then they wouldn't keep coming. And I think if you look, for instance, some of us talk about later, but I'll say now, look at the level of people attending our show. As it stands, we're coming up to about a 2,000 mark. It's great. The tickets go up every day. It's all great. The over 30%, I think it's like 31% C-level or founders at this event. See, I think 75 or 74% around that, about three quarters are senior managers that have a senior title. So these people are decision makers, and they're not
Yeah,
taking time out of their schedule just for a jolly. They don't, they've got other things they could be doing in their
yeah.
life. So they're coming here because, for a reason, they want to connect with people, want to get this stuff done. So because of that, and because of some of the data we've put out over the years, we think we've contributed to over $1.5 billion worth of deals that have either started or continued. The reality is, and that's a mixture of acquisitions. We know some really big ones that have started or happened there, investments, advertising contracts. I think that's probably conservative, but it's based on a few. We did some data to try and create this. I know there are some people that tell you, oh, we definitely know how many deals are made at their show. That's a lie, because not everybody's going to tell you the reality. I know government initiatives that go, oh yeah, we know for our trip to blah blah, we definitely generated 6 million worth of business. It's just because someone filled a form and they can say, oh, maybe I had a meeting, it might be worth this. It's good. I mean, it's hard unless people mandate it, it's hard to be absolutely sure. And these people are our guests. We're paying a service to them. We can't mandate that they fill out complicated forms afterwards and they don't tell us all the money they
I
make.
always fill out the form after
Well, I
your
appreciate
events.
that. Yeah, I know, I appreciate that. But yeah, we do some, and most of it's out of conversations with senior people and just say, oh, and they go, oh, yeah, you know what? We met this developer at your event, this publisher. It was £120 million acquisition a year later or 6 months later. So does that mean our event was the only reason we could have met them? No, but we are part of it. I don't just go into bat for our events. I go into bat for the events industry and for the games industry equally. And I think it's crucial, especially in these times where so much is done by email and AI is doing more and
Yeah.
more for us. I think that the human contact is something that's vital, a vital part of business. So anyway, I don't know. I'm quite passionate about this. So yeah, I think
Yeah,
so.
yeah. No, I completely agree. I think many people are tired right now of these AI generated LinkedIn posts, emails, replies. So they just happy to go and do business in person, like talk with the real person, discuss everything on the spot, then have a meeting follow up like online with their teammates, and then close the deal. And I think this will give you much more happiness as a person, as a human being in the end of the day.
Where's
And I also always now, when I see the email, I'm not sure if you're the real person who is writing
Yeah.
me, right?
Well, there's
Like,
so many agents doing this stuff. We're
yeah,
social animals. I find I won't go into this now because it's not the point, but I like social media, and I've gone off various channels recently for various reasons. Again, I won't go into all the politics of it, but I'm a bit sad at what's happened to LinkedIn at the moment. It feels like LinkedIn used to be really useful, and and there's still some of that, people celebrating what they've done and you keep into touch, but there's so much slop of, and you can see the formula straight away that you know it's either AI written or it's written by a ghostwriter. It's become like a project rather than a source of
yeah,
information, I think. And we're all the same. We're all trying to grow our LinkedIn followers. We like that dopamine and we have business benefits of it. But I don't know. Sometimes I wish it was a bit more natural, a bit more human
true.
than
Yeah,
it is.
yeah,
But you
that's
can't
true.
go back, I guess.
We'll manage. We'll
We'll
manage. It's
manage.
just the new time, new
Neither of us are real,
algorithms.
by the way. Anybody listening to this, we're both.
No, we're real.
I'm a,
Even
I'm a
without
20-year-old
filters.
from
No,
Shanghai, and it's not even my language. It's all coming. It's amazing what you can do with AI now.
that's no, guys. That was a joke. But let's talk about your new events. So, if we look at the PGC expansion,
Yes.
I saw you post recently with Malmo, Bangkok, Canary Islands, London, Barcelona, like so many events, so many plans. So,
Hurrah.
is this about market opportunity, community building, or maybe something bolder like reshaping
Yeah.
global industry geography? So, what's are your plans? Why these locations? Tell us more about your new
About
events.
our grand plan, my grand plan to take over the world.
To
No,
take
I
on.
mean, I did mention before I get bored easily, so that's a factor in this. But I think there's definitely a combination of strategy
Everything.
I'll talk
Yeah.
about and opportunity. Where there's opportunities come up, we think, well, we should give it a go. To underpin this, and it might underpin other questions if we get onto them, I am very, very bullish about the games industry right now and in the next couple of years. I think there will be accelerating growth and many opportunities. So I know that that's not been the prevailing wind for a little while, but what I see underneath, the sense I get from talking to people in different countries, I am bullish about the opportunity. And so I think on that basis, I think it makes sense to me that we should be trying to do more and trying to grow it. And we've got 10 planned events at the moment, and it could have been 20 if my team wouldn't all resign the next day. So I'll talk about some of the events we're doing. Bangkok is our next step into the Asian market. Asia is the dominant hemisphere. That's what we're talking about these days. It appears we are of the games industry right now. Not just China, but
Mhm.
Korea, Japan, Southeast Asia. And we want to grow our presence there. We actually run events there before. We ran events in Bangalore. No, that's kind of the India side of it. And we've ran events in Hong Kong. We had plans to do a lot more, and then COVID came, and that whole plan and some of the team members we hired, it all had to be stopped. So we're getting back onto a plan rather than a brand new thing. We did Shanghai and Korea last year. This year we're doing
Yeah.
Shanghai and Bangkok, and maybe we're talking about Korea. Maybe something happens there or not. There's a couple of other places we're looking at. But yeah, this event will happen alongside Gamescom Asia. We were going to do this event this year in Singapore.
Yeah.
I'd got it already, and then Gamescom moved to Thailand. It was like, should we try and do this anyway, or should we go to Thailand first and see
Mm.
what's going on? So we decided to go. It was good, and I think Vietnam is obviously the very hot part of Southeast Asia right now, but there's opportunities all around that space. So we're gonna sit alongside Gamescom Asia. We've talked to them; they're cool, and try and make that week even more interesting for people. I definitely go. It's a great place, Bangkok. It's a lot of fun. Canary Islands, that's come out of a partnership with the local government. There's an ecosystem there. People don't talk about it much, but it's growing quite rapidly. The Spanish games ecosystem as a whole is growing very rapidly, but the Canary Islands they've got a really big animation presence there. Some really big animations. I forget the name of it. What was the League of Legends? What's it called? Arcane. Is it Arcane? Is that right? I think it was Arcane. That a lot of animation was done out of Canaries. If it wasn't Arcane, I apologize.
Okay.
It's something like I've seen it. I'm just not very good with names. But
I didn't
they're
know this
great.
in this fact. This is very interesting.
Yeah, so they've got that, and they've got the Human Fall Flat. Huge games came out there. There's a few upcoming games on Steam and some mobile projects coming out there. So we're working with them to do that, and that kind of segues nicely with our Barcelona event, which was great last year in the summer. So we like doing events in Europe. It's our home ground. I like the Canary Islands, and it's winter sun.
Yes,
Um,
of course.
Malmo is a partnership with Meet to Match, and that's going to happen alongside Nordic Game. We're not looking to take over
Hmm.
Nordic Game or anything like that. I think Nordic is a great show. It's long been one of my kind of favorite shows to attend. If anything, we're kind of thinking we're going to try and help boost that, because it's had a
Yeah.
few challenging times, and I think there's obviously been layoffs in Malmo and stuff as well. And for us, it's to do that, to have a presence. It's only going to be a summit, so it's a one-day summit. It's sitting alongside. We're not taking away from everything. It'll be later in the week, and that will happen. It'll also be a lead into our Helsinki event. And what we're trying to do with Helsinki, and we're actually renaming that PGC Nordics this year, is to make it much
Interesting.
more clear that it's for the whole of that region. We do get
Yeah.
Swedes and Danes and Norwegians coming along, but we want to work harder to go, look, this is okay. I appreciate this is in Helsinki, and but it's really easy to get there. And this is for all of you. This is not just for the Finns.
Hmm.
Much I do love the Finns. They're brilliant. So yeah, so that's kind of tied into that plan. So those things are kind of strategic. A couple of them are one-day things. The thing that's changed, that's made us allowed to do this, is we created this summit model. So we have our big 2-day PGC, which is for full fat, everything, very, very involved, and has everything in it. And then we have this one-day summit, which has some of the good stuff, has a couple of pitch events, has talks, it has a meeting system, but that sits alongside another event. So if you're going to Shanghai for China Joy, and I suggest people really should, because China is the biggest game market in the world right now, come to our event first, because China Joy is great, but a bit mad if you're not Chinese.
Yeah.
And kind of base yourself and get some connections and feel like a kind of friendly, more Western experience, perhaps, before you go into China Joy full on. Gamescom Asia is slightly different. I think that's just us wanting to be there, but I think we want to try and help make that bigger, because Gamescom Asia is good, but it's not Gamescom. Like Gamescom in Germany is just, there's nothing like it really. It's a much smaller event. So we want to see if we can help that grow and yeah. So I don't know. That's allowed us to do more of these events. We still have to invest a lot, but it's not quite as big a team, and it's not quite as much of a pull from our team to do the one day as the 2 days. But yeah.
Amazing plans. Wow.
And there's
Wow.
more fun, possibly. I've actually I turned down 2 opportunities. I'm really annoyed, but my team did chat with me a bit. But there's a couple of other things we're looking at, so it's not all over yet. But yeah.
You still have 2 months in a year. You have 10
I
events,
know.
12 months.
I had a thing lined up for April, and I got shouted out of it. But no, the thing with that is it's trying to make it so it doesn't just cannibalize either us or it makes sense. And yeah, there's some other territory. We're getting a lot more governments coming to us now, going, "Hey, you do these events. Do you want to run an event in our territory?" And to be honest, 9 times out of 10 we say no, not because I don't respect them, but it's just like, if there's no. We had this thing with Saudi Arabia, to be honest, years ago. They wanted us to run a full PG Connects there. But at that time, that's before a lot of the investment had been announced. And right now they are growing, but there was no ecosystem. So it's like, you want to bring a 1,000-person event to a country that doesn't have a games history. I just knew it was going to be hard to deliver. We'll see. I know GDC are doing an event at the end of the year in Saudi, so we'll see how that goes. They've announced some big numbers they're planning for. And I think Saudi's great. Again, a place I think you should visit, and there's huge investment and some interesting things happening. But we kind of have to look at what's credible. We want to make sure we've got a chance of winning and succeeding and delivering something, as well as everything else. Sorry, that was really long. Apologies.
No, that's amazing. I'm first time hearing this, information, everything about new events, new plans, and why you choose and how. And I think that's super interesting. I'm now,
You should come to more of them. Like, that's good.
Of course, I visited London. I was in Barcelona and also Helsinki.
Yeah.
You
should come over.
Much more to visit.
Shanghai. I tell you one event you should come to. We do an event in Dubai, which is the biggest one, I think, of its kind in that region. But we also do an event in Jordan. It was in Aqaba this year, which is pretty big as well. So I had about a couple of thousand people. It's much more developer focused, and it's great. You see an ecosystem that has been thriving there. It doesn't have the big investment dollars necessarily yet that Saudi does, but it's interesting. Some big companies come out of it as well. But what's amazing is that we also then go to Petra and Waliran. We kind of combine it with going to these historical, for foreign VIPs especially, we take you to see one of the wonders of the world and having a great dinner.
I saw the photos. Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
it looks amazing.
This year I got kidnapped from a train. So that doesn't happen. That hadn't happened before. That was a new thing for me, but it was great.
So remember just going to a conference. Yeah, sounds amazing. Wow, what a great plan. So you're growing each year, more and more events. I can't imagine how many events you'll have next year. We'll see. We'll see. Still have
Yeah,
two more.
4.
Two more.
We'll probably go.
Yeah. Why not? Why not? People will just leave and go from event to event at PGC. That's how you will take the world. And, and an interesting question about just events in general. So some argue that industry conferences are becoming homogeneous. So what's maybe one belief about gaming events that everyone assumes, but you think is fundamentally wrong? Maybe there
I
is
thought about
something.
this question, and I will full disclosure had the questions in advance, but it's a good question. Your questions are brilliant. I've not done a lot of these, but these are the most probing questions I've had. I think that why I think that's wrong, that games industry become homogenous, is because the event, it's like a football stadium, I guess, right? The event is really the people. It's kind of games events. Yeah, we put stuff on, we put talks on, but that's the people as well. It's really about the people, and the best and most effective thing we can do is connect people and inspire people. And that's really all we've got to do. And as long as, what the people are saying is interesting and relevant and probably different, because one of the things about the place we go in the world, yeah, we do have some people that go to and some companies that go to all of them. But the reality is it's different audiences,
Yeah.
usually around 50% of delegates at any event are from either that country or very nearby countries, that region. Wherever we go, it's that sort of balance. Isn't quite in the UK, it's actually less UK this year than that so far. It probably will balance up as the final tickets come in. But so I think it's fair to say there are things that are homogenous. The accepted formula of talks, expo, meeting system, fringe events of some description is what everyone most people do. I think people try to do different stuff that hasn't necessarily thrived, and we tried different stuff and it didn't necessarily work either. We do things like round tables, we do things like these summits. We are constantly trying to freshen it up with some new ideas, but at the end of the day, people want to learn about the latest trends and techniques. They want to and hear from the big games people that succeeded. They want to have business meetings. They want to have proper business meetings and connections, and that's it really. And if you think about the events that are out there that I respect, and there's lots of great events, but like the Games Forum, for instance, has their niche. They're much more mobile UA and monetization stuff. DevGam is tend to be more Eastern European focused and indie focused. White Knights, they've been very badly hit by events, but they're very much much more of a CIS focus. Wanting to bring together those people. They're now in Cyprus mainly. Things like Dice and GamesBeat tend to be much smaller, but more, I don't know, I guess sea level, or that's the pretense, and very much American approach. And then you've got Gamescom and Tokyo Game. I mean, you've got the big ones. If you look at things like China Gamescom and Tokyo Game Show, and GDC, say, like they're probably the biggest games events now. Gamescom's the biggest of those, without a doubt, I'd say. Those are the biggest B2B events in the world. If you went to all those 4, you wouldn't go, oh, this is very similar to every one of them. Has a very different flavor. Yeah, they do have expos and they have talks or not talks, but they are different and it's because of where they are and what they've grown out of. The other thing I would say about events is and this might not seem real to people who have not been around a long time, there are a lot less events than there used to be. There are a lot less event series. We got to a point pre-COVID where there was like an event of some scale every week at least, if not every other day, somewhere in the world. And it was just, there was a lot. And COVID came and then there was none. Right? We did our digital events, but there wasn't much else going on. But you've got big things. Casual Connect, when I started, was a huge event series. Doesn't exist anymore. Reboot seems to have gone. That was going to be this year. That was a big event for a lot of people. That doesn't exist. There's the Hit Games Conference. I don't know if they're still going or not, but they were doing lots of things. They're not there.
Yeah.
And like White Knights have scaled down a little bit. That's not that anything's bad with any of these things, but there are some new people trying to grow up and do things. But it's not like there's millions and millions of events at the moment. I don't think we're over. Fair enough. You don't have to go to any of them. That's totally cool. I don't mind if people don't go to our events. That's fine. But I don't think we've got to a glut, to peak event where there's too many at the moment. Maybe we will again. Maybe there'll be new companies come in and it will go that way. But at the moment, maybe people are us doing many events might cause that. But I don't think we're there yet, to be honest. Yeah.
We'll see. Then it's your time to take the world. And also, talking about your events before my last question that I prepared, I'm just curious. So if you could flip the script and run radically different formats, radically different events, if we're talking about Pocket Gamer, so what would it look like? Maybe your wild dream or some fantasy that will never happen, but what's maybe the wildest format or event that you
I did
wish?
I did mention the nudist matchmaking earlier, right? I did that. But no, if I'm honest, and this is going to be really boring, I'm sorry. We have tried. I've been doing this for 20 years. I know you look at me and go, look at him, youthful. He must be in his mid-20s or something. I've been around for a while. We've tried a lot of different things, and I've been in the games industry for like, I don't know, 26, 27 years. If and I've been to lots of things, I've seen lots of things, and we've run lots of things. We started off doing mixers and
Mhm.
parties, and we've done sea-level summits only, and we've tried hundreds of different ideas. We had loads of crazy ideas. My first idea was doing PGC London, and this is an internal thing that hasn't got out. We did a couple of cool things. We did this thing called the Indie Rockstar panel, which was a little bit like it was a bit like there's two panels. It was a bit like those TV quiz shows. There's people kind of
Yeah.
two panels. It was that sort of vibe. It sort of worked. It didn't entirely, but it sort of did. But it was, and then we had an open mic session in the
Mm.
room, which just people could come in and just write their name outside in the slate and come and talk about anything. That was interesting chaos. I wanted to put in a fun fair. We had this big space in Vinopolis. It's not where we are now. The first venue we used actually got turned into flats, so it doesn't exist. But I wanted to put funfair rides in the middle. I wanted like a bucking bronco and people just to have fun while at the games event. And my event team sort of went, we're not doing that. For these 17 health and safety reasons, we can't do this. So we didn't do that. But over the years, we've tried a lot of things. We even did some stuff on a London double-decker bus. We did a tour. We had this great idea where you could get in London. We're doing all these London things, right? You can get a tour around London in minis. You know, the Italian job with the little minis, different colours.
Mhm.
And it's great in the film. They're racing around a city and it's all very exciting. And there's
Yeah.
these people that do a similar thing in London. We thought, we'll hire those for our VIPs. The reality is, driving around London during the day is not like the Italian job. It's like sitting in traffic for
Yeah.
long periods of time,
And
and
not
it's
moving.
mini. You can't even see much out the window. It was the worst idea ever. So we've done a lot. We've done a lot of crazy stuff. I would say that I won't pretend that there's not someone out there that come up with something amazing that will revolutionise this space, or and I don't think someone can't do it better. I'm pretty humble about we do the best we can, and I respect people doing amazing stuff. But I think the event has evolved the way it has because of who we are and what the industry's asked for and what has succeeded. I imagine it might not be exactly the same, but I imagine if we started again, we would start like in a different industry, we'd start trying to do some of the same things. What would then happen is market forces would try and force us. I did try and do also some interactive digital stuff, and where you have people watching digitally and interact, and that pain in the backside trying to do it live. So that we never really pushed with that. So, but I think the format we've got with short talks, and this is one of the things that I think is really good about what we do. We have 20-minute talks, 40-minute panels is the standard. Some get a bit
Yeah.
longer, but 20 minutes kind of forces you to deliver some information quickly, and then if you want to follow up, you go and talk to people. And if it's a bit rubbish or you're not interested, it goes really quickly. We be like that with the content.
So that's great. I love it that you can go listen to the talk, spend 20 minutes, and also have meetings and not
Yeah, no,
just
you can
sit an
go to
hour.
meetings and the system matches. I think that's good. I think Meet the
Exactly.
Match, we resisted that the first couple of years, but Fedora and his
Oh,
team do
that's
a brilliant job.
amazing. I
And it's
love
just one
meeting.
everyone likes. It's just the thing everyone likes. There are lots of systems that come out and do
Yeah.
loads of bells and whistles, but the reality is people don't use them, like virtual, pavilions and expert. It just doesn't. It's great, but people then don't use it, so those
Mm-mm.
systems don't thrive. And then we have the fringe events, which tend to work. We have the parties, and I think it would probably be similar to what we do now. But
And that's amazing.
if you've
And
got
that's
great
amazing.
ideas, I'm always open to try something. I'm up for the minis again, or like
No,
whatever.
we'll not do it in January in London. No, no, no. Maybe in summer. Yeah. Um, and Chris, the last question that I have for you for today, very interesting also to hear from my side. So fast forward to January 2027. Let's imagine now is January
That went quick,
2027.
didn't it?
It's always like this. So what outcome from the 2026, your global tour, would make you say that, this was the pivotal year for the future of the industry. I succeeded, my team succeeded, and the year was amazing. What should have happened this year?
Wow, you have these big questions. I mean, on a personal level, obviously, we want our events everyone to come out of events going, "That was great, do it again, make
Yeah.
it bigger. We wanna come back next year." And most of the time we get that. Not every event goes the way we want, you know, it's that's just the way of the world.
And that's okay.
But
Yeah.
but but yeah, that's c basically, very simply on that level, people coming away and people going, "We love it. Please come back. We thought it was brilliant." Having great feedback, and we can see it much more now. We do the feedback forms and we get some results of that, but it's mainly in social media now. Like LinkedIn, before and after the event is what we monitor to see the levels of engagement. The level
Yeah.
for London at the moment is insane. Like just like my LinkedIn feed is, and it would be because of the
Yeah.
bias, but it's just full of it. And hopefully afterwards we get a load of people going, "This was great and this was amazing," and then we go, "Well, okay, we've done our job," and that is the main thing. I actually think 2026 is going to be a pivotal year for the industry as a whole. I think 2025 quietly, not many people even noticed it really. The Newzoo output put out numbers that were dramatically inflated from what they were before and showed a 7.5% growth year on year of the value. The thing also on that, Newzoo's numbers are not the full impact of the industry. They don't take into account hardware, they don't take into account any advertising, which is huge in mobile, and I don't think they've yet, any of these systems have got their head around the D2C revenues because they don't come from the App Store. They're hidden or
Yeah.
much more hidden. So I think that number I saw once someone say the video games industry is worth 500 billion. I went, "That's ridiculous." And I don't know if it is ridiculous. I don't know if it is. Once you put the advertising in, it depends how broad it's like London and Greater London, how far I think I could certainly agree with the valuation that's twice that for our overall impact. We add advertising, hardware, and a few other bits and pieces in. But I think anyway, despite that, I think we're gonna continue to see growth this year. What would be success for me for the industry is to see the belief coming back. One of
Hmm.
the things I haven't gone to, and I'll try and be quick about this, is where the kind of balance is happening, right? There's a change in the balance. China is the biggest games market now in the world. No, there's no dispute, and it's not gonna give up these to America easily. American hegemony in a load of ways is being lost there. If you look at where the most job losses are in the games industry, it's in America. America's tied up
Hmm.
with the whole AAA thing, which is important, but it's crumbling, right? It's cracking. It's showing cracks in a lot of different places. If GTA doesn't come through in a big way, that entire pillar of the industry is gonna be looked at. But fortunately, around that, mobile's popping up lots of interesting ways. Double A, indies, there's lots of other stuff coming out to support that. So the overall value is going up, even if those big games aren't happening the same way. But I think one of my points is that I think that globally, the market is going at different speeds now. Asia's on a tear. The Middle East is the fastest growing tear. South America's actually been doing quite well. And America and Europe have been a little bit slower. And that is amplified if you go to these countries and you talk to people. If you talk to people about the games industry here in a bar or whatever in Europe and bits of the States, not everybody, but there's a general kind of gloom still about, and I get it, people have lost their jobs. The halcyon days of COVID, we've come down a long way since then. But I think we need as an industry to get beyond that. The biggest thing we need to get beyond is that's gone now. Let's just
Yeah.
forget what happened 5 years ago. Let's look at what the reality is in front of us and the opportunities there, because the opportunities are huge. The market value is growing. So how do you get your part of that? Don't go, "Well, the thing I used to do doesn't work very well anymore." Fine, unlucky, move on, do something
Yeah.
different. And I think I really want to feel, and if we go to the Middle East and you go to China, you don't have people navel gazing or complaining or worrying about this or that. It's much more hunger, it's much more kind of
Hmm.
optimism and drive, that they're looking about the opportunities, not the problems. And I want to see more of the games industry doing that. I definitely want to see that in Europe and US. That would be a success for me. The belief again in ourselves and in this market. So I think that's a huge success. Yeah. I would also like to see, and this is a thing of success for me, increasing respect given to non-PC console games platforms. I
Hmm.
do still feel the Games Awards, wasn't always a great fan of it. But I will take my hat off. This one was incredible. Jeff Kiley put the hard yards in. He's done this for a long time. The reach it's got, the celebrities in there. It is the video games Oscars. There's no dispute, and it was incredible. But it was PC console
Yeah.
99%. Very little
Yeah.
mobile in there. Not really a mention of UGC at all, despite UGC Roblox games having the biggest engagement, of any. There's not really a lot to talk about VR and things like that either. It's only PC console, and I would like a success for me, and we are not, also to be really clear, we're not just a mobile event, even though PG Connects,
Yeah.
we come from mobile. Like 46% of our attendees are interested in PC console, 536 a console, PC, 3536 console, another 25 handheld console. Other people are interested in VR. We've got a real cross section of the industry. It's some people go, oh, it's a mobile show. It's not. So I care about the whole industry, not just mobile. But I do want to see the respect
Yeah.
given across these fields, especially for mobile, which basically props up the entire industry, and it has been the bulk of the growth. And I still think there's a bit of nose sniffy snobbery that goes on towards mobile from the serious PC game. And it's exactly what they got, those people, when they came in and the film and music people went, oh, games, so can't you get in a proper creative industry? And now the film people are going, oh, games, can you come and make your, I make a joke? Yes, I have a job with you. Can I make a film based on your amazing games IP? And I'd like to see more of that love for mobile. So I'm working on something that I'd love to see. I'd love us to try and come up with the Games Awards just for mobile, I think. But the same is true also for UGC and those games, Roblox and those platforms and Minecraft and Fortnite, etc. And for VR as well. All those guys are working crazy hard, creating an incredible project, but they don't get the, games is Grand Theft Auto, right? And that it's just not the reality. That's true. Grand Theft Auto is going to be incredible. I hope for all of us. If that fails, it's going to be interesting times. But I want to see more breadth of respect. So I've got loads of other stuff because I'd also like Final Fantasy. I could try this. I could go on for my wishes list for ages.
That's the final part.
I would like also to see a return to net hire. There's a guy called Amir Satvat, who most of us know on LinkedIn, who is the closest we have to a saint, I think, in the games industry. I know he gets some stick, but if you do something good, someone's going to decry it. And he's put a lot of his own time personally into trying to bring together, data and resources to help people get back, struggling with a job, to help them get access to new opportunities. And it's a good, right? What he does is a good. You can't really argue with it. And I would like him to be able to say at the end of 2026, you know what? The numbers are already, the decline is kind of shallowing, but I'd like him to go, we've lost a few thousand jobs this year, but there's been as many jobs offerings open, and actually we're net hirers again. That would be for me an industry wish for 2026, because every job that goes, someone's career, someone's family impacted, and we don't want to. I love the games industry people. I love the family. It's why I'm still doing this after 20 years. And I don't want to see anybody leaving us. I want us to grow, really.
Exactly.
I've got 20 other points, but I won't have them.
No, let's finish on this one, because that's basically how I also feel. I just wish we will hear more positive announcements on LinkedIn or some positive news and less news about layoffs or closing studios or something else, because it's been really hard to hear it after the COVID for the years and years. So I just wish we will have this more positives, and I totally agree with you. So let's finish on this positive note. I think that's an amazing prediction for 2026. Let's talk in January 2027 and see. I hope we will be correct. And so, Chris, thank you so much for sharing your keen insights on Pocket Gamer Connects, on your new events, PGC London, and also the future of the games industry in 2026. And yes, thank you also everyone for listening us, for joining in. You can find us on Spotify, YouTube. Of course, we'll post this on LinkedIn. And I wish to see you everyone at some of the PGC events. Of course.
See you soon.
Thank you, Chris, and have a lovely PGC London. And you will see all your friends and have an amazing time. And I wish no rain in London. And no snow and rain.
It's more likely to snow, to be honest.
I know, and it's very rare. So I hope the weather will be good. Thank you so much.
See you in PGC London. Thank you so much for your time, I really appreciate it.